Hello, I'm Martin Richards and I'm the driver of the R32 here, driving for Driftworks. And we're here today at Richards Racing, my own workshop.
In Pershore.
In Pershore!
Pershore!
Julian! I'm Martin Richards, I'm the driver of the Driftworks R32, 2019 King of Riga, and I'm back.
Instincts going no, looking bad like a bat with an eye patch. All black through the woods with a backpack and a lit match. Spark one time, get the whole city looking like a dark set of orange when I burn it down. But it is what it do, hopefully get loud on the talk of the town. The city had a mouth. And like daylight in the night, and I'm killing so many niggas that really wanna get involved. And everybody falling in it bad like a bat with an eye patch. All black through the woods.
So this is the start of a series where we are basically going to revamp the R32 for next year's season in Drift Masters, if it happens, please. And yeah, I'm going to take you through our plans to dominate, hopefully, next year, and that involves upgrading the power, upgrading a few things in the car, taking it from the last revamp that we did like a couple of years ago, really, where we took this from pretty road-orientated, road-spec drift car that still is the longest-standing competition drift car, hopefully, I think, in the world, and just bringing it up to date, really, up to the next stage, basically giving it a bit more power, making it ultimately more reliable, although it has been very reliable in previous years. So basically we're going to revamp it, mainly engine things, trying to get a little bit more power out of the car, just because I feel now that I've been on the best tyre in the world. In Riga, we're on a 285 tyre, let's make that, let's just say we're on a 285 tyre, so we're stepping up width. Ultimately, there's more grip there. And I felt the, let's say, 620 horsepower just wasn't cutting the mustard for me. It was quite hard to drive accurately online with so much grip, and I felt it let me down in a few areas where I just couldn't drive as accurately or as aggressively as I wanted to.
And especially against the people with the actual big power, there was a clear power disadvantage.
The majority of people in the Drift Masters series have got 700-800 horsepower plus, maybe a bit more, with bigger tyres, and yeah, it just kind of ends up, I just felt I haven't got all the tools for the job, and we needed to address that really for next year. So yeah, Borg Warner S300 SXE. I think this has been on the car for 8+ years.
Probably more than.
When it was 1J era, I think when Bond drove it, they had
that's 10 years then.
GT35 on there, and then stepped up to this, and it's a laggy beast. It's old technology.
Yep.
It's a bloody good turbo, and it works. It's been so reliable. I think one time it actually ran on the whole dyno session at Greg's without any oil pressure going to it, and it took a whole dyno session before it actually failed.
But where does it come on boost?
4,600, something like that.
So we bought
full boost.
A new turbo. Should we have a look at the turbo? We'll quickly look at this.
Step the turbo size up. This is another Borg Warner S300, and this is the new Borg Warner EFR 9174. As you can probably see there, the size of the wheel. Yeah, so stepping up the size of the wheel, that basically means we're going to be pumping quite a bit more air into that engine.
But it will spool a lot sooner.
Yeah, we spec'd it as a 9174, so it actually has a smaller exhaust wheel, therefore hopefully gives us more response, but still manages to make the numbers.
And side note, whilst we're here at this table, we will do more videos on this as and when they get fitted and installed.
So basically, when you're trying to pump more air into an engine, you need more fuel, and that starts with bigger injectors, along with other supporting factors. We need to add more fuel to the fuel rail to feed those injectors, really, to make more horsepower.
More on that later, but if you do have any questions on those and the turbo and what we're going to do, drop us a comment, we'll happily answer.
And I'll do my best efforts to reply to you all.
But we've got a Walton manifold that's been made at the moment by Mike Walton for
Currently,
this.
yeah, being made at the moment, which we're going to couple together with a 60mm Turbo Smart wastegate.
Yeah. So when they
at Driftworks.
So when they all arrive, we'll do a more detailed video and show you that. So should we start with the engine?
Yeah. So yeah, basically at the moment the spec of the engine is a completely bone stock 2JZ GT bottom end, coupled to a completely stock 1JZ head with 264 camshafts and the supporting fuel and turbo mods to make 600 horsepower, let's say. We want to step that up and we want to make it as reliable as possible. It's quite a well-known fact how reliable and good 2JZs are, but even in their standard forms, but we want to make it reliable and hopefully put all these bits in and it lasts a season, 2 seasons easily without us having to touch it again. So it starts off with another 2JZ GT block. This is actually a genuine GT block. A lot of people now are using GE blocks. The only real difference is the oil squirters in the bottom that squirt oil to the pistons for a bit of cooling, and that is generally about it, really.
So we sent this block off to Dave Yandel, DIY Engine. Check him out. He did my wonderful SR over there.
Yeah,
and the king of engines in the UK, probably.
He is the man who's got all the right machines. I've been using various machine shops in the past, and actually speaking to Dave, it's really comforting that he knows exactly what he's doing. He tells you what he's doing. He gives you reasons for what he's doing, and his machining and attention to detail is bob on. So it's been an actual pleasure to work with him and him doing all this work for me now. Yeah, it's really good.
He's still got the head.
He's still got the head. Long story with that. I had actually sent the head off to another company who I won't name, but he had the head for 6 months, didn't touch it. I kind of got really annoyed after giving him some deposit and pulled the head off of him and basically given another head now to Dave, and that is going away for porting. We're going to take a little bit of squish area out of the head and 1mm oversized valves, and then we're going to build a nice head with solid shims, uprated valve stems, obviously larger valves, and then coupled with some Kelford 264 and 272 and 276 camshafts.
So what did Dave actually do to the holes?
So this has been bored out to 87mm. Obviously there's no replacement for displacement, so trying to go as big as possible, but still trying to leave as much, but enough cylinder wall thickness for reliability and things like that. It's kind of a proven good spec. A lot of people go to like 3.4 strokers and things like that, but I'm just happy with 3 litres, keeping the stroke kind of the same as the bore or similar, and hopefully that would give us super reliability, really.
And what is that girdle thing over there?
Yeah, so this was actually given to us by Super Sport. They make these girdles, they're called. I'll literally flip this round. So the idea of this is, again, a lot of people put billet main caps into 2JZs to make them strong. This is like if you want to get to 1,000 horsepower plus, really. But this was given to us. It's kind of a product that Super Sport make. It kind of bolts on top of the main bearing caps like that, and it's like a ladder to tie everything in, just to add a little bit more strength to the bottom end and hold the bearing caps together. So that's all been machined to fit and work with some custom ARP main studs. So yeah, just it was given us to try, and we're going to see hopefully that it lasts and works and does a good job.
Next on the table of goodies, the crank.
Crankshaft, that's a standard crankshaft. It was actually from a GE engine, but it's quite well known that the cranks on the GE and the GTE are exactly the same. There's no difference. So that's a perfect crank. It's been very slightly polished, but the oil clearances have all been measured and worked out perfectly, and we're running standard ACL bearings. Well, standard standard size race series ACL bearings in there. One of the best brands of one of the best brands of race series engine bearings there are, and yeah, I've been using those for years in various engines, so it's just the standard go-to part that you use. So yeah, then we're using ARP head studs and main bolts for the main bearings, and then probably the main things of an engine is the pistons, CP. Again, I've been using CP and Manley rods for years. They're very good, they're very reliable, and they're very good price. So yeah, we've got some CP pistons, 8.5 compression, 8.5 to 1 compression ratio, and then some Manley H-Tough series rods.
These have all been balanced as well by Dave, hasn't he?
Yeah, these are all obviously, I give Dave the pistons, he machines the bores with the correct clearance that CP state, and then everything is basically balanced within 0.5 gram, I think it is. So
I don't know why you're asking me.
I'm just clueless. I usually just give these parts to a balancer and they make them perfect, you know. So yeah, those have all been balanced. The idea of that is to keep rotation, you know, this thing's spinning around at 7,000 plus, you know, up to 8,000 RPM maybe. If things are very slightly different weights going around, it causes vibrations, makes things out of balance, and that can cause premature engine wear, really. So that's the reason why we do that. Coupled to that, an ATI super damper. There's nothing really to explain there. They are the go-to things to keep crank harmonics down.
Very important though, as we found out with the LS's in the Corolla. I'm buying one to put on my SR20 as well. Like, it seems silly not doing it if you're spending all this money on an engine, not putting the best.
Didn't the
internals fell apart?
Didn't the 86 have one of these on? But it wasn't serviced, because these actually have a service life. People need to know this. That if you don't service them to the instructions that they say, like every few years or something, you replace the seals in there, they can actually cause issues. And I think that was an actual issue with the,
That's
with the engine.
Exactly what it was.
So yeah, we've got a brand new one of those. Then we got some
the bits for the head, isn't it?
Yeah, these are the Kelford cams. We've got uprated Supertech springs with retainers, and then some nice Kelford vernier cam adjusters. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary, you know, we're not experimenting with anything. This is like kind of a proven product, uprating all these things into an engine to make a very reliable engine. I mean, this potentially could do well over 1,000 horsepower, but we don't want to run anywhere near that. We just want everything bulletproof, hopefully bomb-proof. Run it at a nice 700 if we could get 750 out of it.
Responsive power.
Yeah, responsive is one of the biggest words I keep using, is I want response out of the engine, and to be able to drive it and have a big usable power band. And that's one of the main aims here, is keeping the turbo working really efficiently and making the broadest power band we can, really. I mean, this is, I'd say, kind of copying the likes of James Dean, those kind of big power JZs that are in, you know, high level competitions.
It's a proven recipe.
It's a proven recipe. One of the main reasons I haven't gone for a stroker kit, like a lot of people bang on about stroker kits, and you make more torque and you make more power, but you know, the likes of James and Peter in the FD car, they've always used stock cranks and stock stroke, so I feel like I'm kind of copying that kind of package, really. Again, James uses a Borg Warner, very slightly bigger. We've gone for this choice to try and, you know, I don't want to make necessarily the bigger numbers, or if we want to later down the line, we can just change the exhaust housing on the turbo. And
I mean, Dean's car is also 200 kilograms heavier than yours.
That's the thing. Is, you know, he's using much a newer chassis, I suppose, and it is a little bit heavier. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of weight on our side, or lack of it, and yeah, realistically, I did really well in that setup, and I think this is the next step to hopefully making it, one, easier for me to drive, give me more power, make the tyres work a lot better with a car, and do some awesome things really. So I think this basically wraps up the little introduction to what we're doing here, and I suppose in the next video you're going to see me putting this engine together, making all the small things happen, and putting all the bolts together, and making this bare bones of an engine into an engine.
Exciting.
I'm really looking forward to it. It probably should have happened a bit sooner, but with all this stuff that's going on.
And bearing in mind, you also have a job.
Yeah, I do a lot of work on cars, and I suppose sometimes you don't want to work on your own or your own projects.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this, and unfortunately it does have to fit in between actually earning money and putting food on the table and things like that. And I'll just be working on this evenings and weekends until we can get it done.
Yep.
So remember to like, subscribe and share, and yeah, comment away, and I'll do my best to answer any of your questions.
Buy some merch.
Also some...
Do a spin, show the back. Woo! Woo!
Beautiful merch.
At Driftworks, we've helped over 50,000 happy customers since 2004. Our huge online parts store is simple to use, with superb shipping rates to anywhere in the world, and finance options available for UK customers. We live and breathe wheel fitment, so if you have any questions about your own car or any of our products before placing an order, please drop us an email at shop@driftworks.com or give us a call. Thanks for watching.